98 Not Out, sponsored by Shepherd Neame, proud supporters of cricket in Essex.
Joining us on the line now, we are very pleased to welcome Mr. Vas Blackwood. Vas, how are you doing?
I'm very well indeed, safe. Are you all safe out there?
We're keeping safe, we're observing social distancing and making sure that we're behaving ourselves. What have you been doing in lockdown?
Oh, God, well, it's somewhat, I mean, it's, you know, some people are saying it's a little bit like Groundhog Day. I have said that to a couple of my neighbours, but I think it's been, for myself personally, it's just been like a very, say, personal, spiritual, and productive time for myself, really, you know, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm lucky that, I mean, I work in a freelance environment anyway. You know, I'm an actor, you know, voiceover artist, and I also have a company and I write and produce stuff. So, really, things are very much the same. There are a few things.
Now, I've followed your career for a long time, so I'm quite thrilled to have you on as a guest on 98 Not Out. For those of you that are listening that are not completely aware of Vas, I'll just give you some highlights that I've got. First time I really remember seeing you was in the Lenny Henry show when you were playing Winston, his sidekick. Funny enough, on a community Crucial FM radio show, wasn't it?
yeah, BBC, Brixton Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, listen, you can't get more community than that.
No, and you were at the back of a kebab shop or something, weren't you? Was that the setting?
Sorry?
You were at the back of a kebab shop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, secret. Well, you have to you press Limassol on the.
That's right, on the map.
You press Limassol, and a little door, secret door opened, and that led you into the studio. Yeah. Mm.
And you had quite a good cast in that show. I mean, there was a very young Gina McKee was involved with that, wasn't she?
Yeah, Gina was in that. Lovely girl, Gina. Also, Pip Torrance.
Yeah.
Pip Torrance, man. He's, you know, gone on to do some great things. Pip, really good actor and a nice man. Yeah, very nice cast.
And what about that Lenny bloke? What did he go on to do? I don't hear of him since. Lenworth, exactly, yeah. So
Lenny's good. Lenny's great. I did some stuff with him last year, actually. Just a little documentary that he was doing regarding comedy and Lenny Henry show comedy, and you know, just all of that.
Oh, I think I saw some of that. Yeah, it was exploring sort of black and Asian comedy in Britain. That's right. Yeah.
But Lenny's good, man. He's really good. You know, he's like busier than ever, and he's a consummate professional. He's a, you know, over the years he's matured amazingly with age, and he's a real sage of wisdom, and rightfully so.
Well, get him on the show. Tell him he's got to come and talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, Lenny's good. He's really good, and you know, he does things like that, and he's always been like that. But you know, you find, I think, with someone like Lenny, when he started, there wasn't that many black stand-up comedians that were kind of, as it were, they shoot into the stars. Really, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been worth his weight in gold, and he had that trajectory that was going on. He was going all the way there, and you know, people loved him, and he was, you know, iconic. Very much in that era, there, very iconic, and everything was wished. Everybody wished him the best, and he went for it, and he got it. And I think that what you found once he got to the limelight, he was just very busy.
Yeah. Vas, you've worked with some great writers in your career, as well as good actors. I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you the start of two quotes. I want you to finish the quote, and then after each one, you can tell me about that role. So the first quote I'm going to start with is, "If the milk
turns out to be sour, I'm not the type of pussy to drink it."
So Vas, it's Brett here. When you're filming something like Lock, Stock, do you realise how good it's going to be, or was it one of those things you're filming and you thought this could be all right?
No, we you know, you okay. What you normally find. I mean, what I found was that there was Guy Ritchie was there was something about him. You know, I felt as though there was something about him. He knew what he was doing, and that sort of intuitive feeling that I got was based on, I suppose, myself being an actor who understands when they're working with someone who is probably a little bit more special than the other director they might have been working with. And it's no disrespect to the other director, but that's just the way the business ebbs and flows. Because you get some directors actually have got a little gift, and you listen. You would be a complete numpty if you couldn't, as an actor, if you couldn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
And that comes from going to drama school and little things like that. You know, you just know there's something about the person. They've got something. And then sometimes they might have something, but at some point you're watching, and sometimes at some point it all falls apart on them. You know.
But the character Rory Breaker though, was quite a complex sort of a character, because he was the most evil man in the film. But you sort of played it with that slight comic edge. You had the big afro, and there was always that sort of little glint in your eye that, you know, there was a bit more to the character.
Yeah, I think, well, you know, with Rory, what you'd find with a character like Rory Breaker within the context of a movie like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, you've got to look at the other performances as well. This is what I thought, because the other actors, they all brought their A game. And the thing is that, for instance, Rory would have maybe looked out of place if the other actors hadn't brought their A game. If they had brought their B game, not even their E game or their F game or something, and just B game, they just didn't. They weren't cutting it. And Rory would have looked like, as you say, he would have just looked. He thought that black guy with the afro and where he was carrying on. It just
You had some right hard nuts in your crew as well.
Yeah, yeah. But and they didn't say much.
No,
they didn't say much.
They looked mean.
Yeah, and they were. You know, one of them was a famous doorman.
Yeah.
You know, cool. And his name was Chopper. You know? yeah. He's still a back Chopper. You know.
Oh, really?
But, yeah. So you know what I mean? I just think that if we all focused on what we had to do, because and you got that direction from the good director.
Yeah.
And that was it, really. And, you know, and that's what they do. They bring out, they direct a performance out of you.
Now, your other role that I love you for is in one of my favourite episodes of Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
The Longest Night. And Lennox Gilby, but Lennox had another name that he gave himself, didn't he?
Yeah, the damn elusive shadow. I'll tell you what, I'll serve you, I'll give you that. Here we go. They seek him here, they seek him there. Those policemen seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven or is he in hell? That damn elusive shadow. There you go.
Comedy gold.
Yeah. John Sullivan again, you see, John Sullivan.
That's right.
The only writer for Only Fools and Horses. He wrote them all. Such a lovely man. A real go-get grafter, got his head down, just cracked on with the work. He used to be a scene shifter. He was a scene shifter at the BBC.
Yeah.
You know, and a scene shifter is really it's like a glorified kind of painter and decorator, really.
Yeah.
Because you know, they strike the set, they set up the set, they strike the set. When they set up the set, they paint the walls, they do this, they put the wallpaper on, they do everything that the art direction wants them to do, and then when it's all said and done, they just break it down, unscrew it, and pack it away. John was one of those, and the mentality of scene shifters and scene and set people, it's very much like, you know, it's very much like on the building site, and a lot of he was always walking around with a little notepad.
Yeah.
And he was always writing, and all the other sort of scene shifters, they'd say, look, what are you doing here, John? What are you doing?
Yeah, he
Don't
obviously
laugh,
had
come
more
on, what
to
are
it,
you doing?
didn't he?
Yeah. And you say, no, he's saying, I'm writing something. So what are you writing?
Now
I'm
listen,
writing something about a fella, like Ducker and Diver, he comes out of Peckham. Oh, there's no yes.
but the characters are just brilliant, weren't they? So many characters as well. But your one was just outrageous, and you played it so well. Now listen, apart from acting, I know you're a big sports nut, and I know you love boxing, but cricket, which is what this show's about. So tell me about Vas Blackwood and cricket.
Well, I don't like cricket. I love it.
You could write a song about that.
Listen, 10cc, man, that's a great song. Yeah, I love it. Well, I grew up, okay. So, Mum and Dad are Jamaican, right? So, they came to England in the 50s, late 50s, and I was born in London, and, we had my auntie who lived with us at the time. Her boyfriend was from a partner. He was from Grenada, and he always used to he'd pop round or be there, spend the night, whatever the case may be. He was a lovely man. He worked at the post office. And Ben, great guy he was. So in those days, whenever the Test cricket was on, obviously we just congregated around the TV because there was that vibe. You didn't get much black characters on normal television, as it were. One or two or three. I mean, I think we're talking about maybe just around the time of Love Thy Neighbour.
Oh God, yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
And even though it's very funny, and we just used to be. It was brilliant because what would happen is you would start to meet other people from the Caribbean. Would maybe, I don't know, you'd either get talking to them on the street or one or two might pop round to your parents, my mum and dad's house, and stop to watch some of the cricket, especially because a test match was test match, lovely 5 days, and we understood the complexities and the skills set for a test match. It was, they've got 2020 now and everything, but 5-day test was just bang on, and even the 1-day games then had some energy. And I was just brought up on the likes of, I would say, I can remember Roy Fredericks was a great opener, and Sobers was before me, really. But when I really started to get into it, was like Viv Richards and
that's right.
Clive Lloyd and Ian Botham. Yeah, boy.
He was an honorary West Indian, wasn't he, Botham?
Yeah. He was a proper. Yeah, well, he was. Yeah, he's a yard. What we call a yard man. He was. And we, you know what? Because Ian Botham, if the West Indies lost and Ian Botham was the triumphant player, we didn't mind.
Yeah.
Because when he got the wind up him and he was going for it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody used to be saying, well, you see, Viv must have given him some good ganja, He's got to have done that. Yeah. I love Ian Botham. I can't tell you anymore. Ian Botham was just, and Viv Richards, the master blaster, and never wore a helmet and things of that sort. And
that's
then
right.
Brian Lara. The whole thing was Lara. I thought Clive Lloyd, quite honestly, before I forget, Clive Lloyd, Sir Clive Lloyd, who's a friend of mine, Sir Clive Lloyd, I felt such a statesman.
He was.
Of a captain, and I felt what happened with me in cricket and the West Indies anyway, up to this day now, this is actually a very good point, was that, that when Clive Lloyd retired, or I think they moved him out of the way for, they moved Clive out, and then Viv took over after Clive.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Viv served his purpose, being the man that Viv was, statesman again, but he had a bit more savoir-faire and a bit more flair, and Viv, right? And he went for it, and he was a good captain, Viv. But you could know, but Viv was also a one-man show to a degree when it came to the batting, and I think Viv used to kind of not lose it a little bit, but he would, in the field, he would be sometimes found wanting. And I think because of both of them knowing him really well at Somerset and them just being close pals and everything, sometimes I think there was a lot of strategy going on. Like they could read each other's mind. And when Viv was the captain and he had these boys out in the field, and sometimes England used to get the upper hand, and you could see Viv's face. It was as if he was being read, you know. But what Clive Lloyd, when he was with the bat, he would come out there, right, and listen, man. You know what? They'd have to be careful with him with the bat because he'd be smashing sixes everywhere.
Yeah.
He went after batsmen. He did not mess about, Clive Lloyd. So he had to, I think he usually batted around about 6 or 7. And when he came out, the team were either doing really well or they were in trouble, or they were middling it a little bit. And he would go out there and he would be the equaliser. He used to do that. And then when it came to the batting and the fielding, Clive was like a statesman again.
Yeah.
He had it. And then, where I was trying to get to is the fact that then all of a sudden, you know, young Brian Lara went and smashed those runs, you know, he did that, he broke the record. And yes, it was a wonderful thing for Brian Lara, but I think that was the day West Indian cricket kind of,
yeah, it was the peak of it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Something happened. Yes, something happened.
Certainly the end of the peak, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know what? We went out on a high, but then no one was expecting that.
Yeah.
No one was expecting that, and what upset me was the fact that, you know, they gave him the captaincy, and I just didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah.
But you know, it was all the wisdom, all the statistics and the figures. Why wouldn't you want to give him captain? And I think a lot of British journalists, cricket writers, and some of the best, they were really happy that he got that job, right? Because he didn't have to have that job because it put too much pressure on him, and he just didn't have the. You know, he was everywhere. He was signing. He'd sign this, sign that. He'd be here, there, everywhere, all over the world. Everyone wanted a piece of him, and I just don't think he was focused on being a captain. Because a captain for a cricket team, a Test cricket team, is different from a captain for a football team, international football team, right? I think so. It's different.
Yeah, like Mike Brearley with England when.
Look at Mike Brearley. Mike Brearley, and he was a psychologist, Mike Brearley, wasn't
he was.
He had a degree in psychology. Mike Brearley, well, there you go. You hit it on the head there. Very clever man, you know, because it's a game of, it's a very, you know what, it's such a wonderful sport. So, getting back to my sadness, I'm trying to. Maybe this interview might change things. You never know. But then I just think that it just went downhill. And then not only did it go downhill, but there started to be. Viv used to do it a bit. He used to flash a little gold chain.
Yeah.
Right?
We're all gangsters now.
yeah. It used to be like, okay, so you all used to have a little thin little gold chain, and after a while, it was like. He can't be bowling full pace like fast bowler for a chain that big. He'll knock his teeth out. His own, you know what I mean? He'll concuss himself. That chain's going to knock him out. And I have to look at some of these chains and I have to think, no, this is another thing. And then you could see the ego was creeping in.
Yeah.
And then when the ego started to creep in, and then
they've lost the unity. They're not a team anymore, are they? Once
they started to play as individuals.
Yeah.
And you know, and it was very sad. It's very, very, very sad. And now look at it.
Yeah.
And then there's that excuse about, you know, in the West Indies, because, you know, a lot of the kids, the youngsters, they don't want to do cricket. They're all trying to do basketball. That's a load of rubbish. That is a load of rubbish. It's not that. It's the fact that cricket, remember, cricket is an institution.
Yeah.
It's not just a sport. It's an institution. It's a way of life. You know, you carry if you're a Test player, you carry yourself a certain way, and you know, I had a very good friend of mine who I went to primary school with, and he I won't even mention his name now, but he went to we were at primary school, and he got into a really good secondary school, and he was a real good athlete, really good athlete, and he played rugby for a very high level for the Harlequins, and he was also very hot at cricket, very hot. And then he played for Middlesex, and then he played for England as he was schoolboys coming up to that level, you know. But then it kind of like went a bit pear-shaped for him. He kind of like just didn't. He didn't apply himself, but I don't know why I'm mentioning him, but but no. I mentioned him. I know what it was is because you had to carry yourself a certain way. You learn. You wear a shirt and jacket and tie, and there's like it's very upstanding, and it's a good thing because it's part of the way of playing cricket. And I just think that. The Australians have got a lot of discipline like that, and when they put that green cap on, it's like
the baggy green.
They're representing
Yeah.
Australia. You know what I mean? I mean, not when it comes to ball tampering, but but you know what? Well, that's why. So that was even more so shameful for them.
Yeah.
And they'll always be remembered for that because of the. Was it Bradman? Bradman was he was an Australian.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The likes of their predecessors, they really did let themselves down there. But it's a gentleman's sport, and the whole thing at the Lords and everything. So really, sticking a pin in it. I'm just a bit upset, and I think that we could have some amazing cricket players. They say that there's a cycle, and normally you come back. They come back, but I just can't. Listen, every time the West Indies play, right, I think, all right, okay.
Do you know what we need to do?
Yeah.
We need to get Clive Lloyd.
I do not bother with the game. I just switch it off. And I don't bother because it upsets me. It really does.
Vaz, we are unfortunately running out of time for this, and we're going to have to get you back at some point just to talk West Indian cricket, I reckon.
I love it.
Can we thank you immensely for your time today? And hopefully we'll catch up again soon and when we're out of lockdown.
Yeah, listen, I'd love to come on the show again and talk about a few other things as well.
Yeah, there's lots to talk about.
Yeah, lots to talk about. But it's the first of many. I've come back a couple of times for you and we can go on further. I hope that the viewers and listeners, keep safe. Just, be wise. Don't, preempt anything and don't sprint too fast. Just slow down and just take it the way it is because your health is so much more important than anything else.
Vaz, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
All right, well, listen, you take care now.
Okay, mate. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.